Today on Newsbeat, Facebook unveils a big change to a key feature.
Plus, why did a politician talk for nearly 13 hours? We'll tell you why.
But first, a big event involving 2 LSU professors is coming to Baton Rouge this weekend. Newsbeat starts right now.
Good evening, I'm Jake Robles.
And I'm Stephanie Caprera. Thanks for joining us. A nonprofit organization is coming to LSU to promote ideas worth spreading. TEDx was started 25 years ago to travel the world spreading the word and mind-changing messages and sharing them with the general public. The annual TED Conference has hosted various international leaders, including Bill Gates, Jane Goodall, and Al Gore. LSU will host its own TEDx event this Saturday at the Riley Theater. Many different aspects and ideas will be shared at the event by speakers from across the state, including 2 of LSU's own mass communication professors. Dr. Jensen Moore and Craig Freeman will share their thoughts about social media and university collaboration.
He is just really energized about what they're talking about, and so I'm excited to see some of that energy and to just hear more about what's going on in LSU's community.
The event is scheduled for 2 p.m. but is currently sold out. A 2009 federal law made changes to how credit companies targeted students, but has it made an impact? According to the University of Houston professor Jim Hawkins, nearly 70% of students under the age of 21 still report receiving credit card offers in the mail. The CARD Act was created to make it more difficult for credit companies to target people who had no way of showing they could repay their debt. Some students are worried about the dangers of students owning a credit card.
I think it's horrible because a lot of times these students have to either rely on their parents to pay it or they actually just don't pay it at all.
I feel like the students should be informed before a credit card company wants to come after them and, sell their, well, not really sell their credit card, but, try and, get their credit card off to them.
It actually sets them back, and I know that from experience because you're starting off with debt and a lot of times nothing left to show for it.
Hawkins added that nearly 30% of students who apply for a credit card list other loans as part of their income on the application. Prospective law students may find other options due to debt. The New York Times says law school applications are headed for a 30-year low. Students are now being faced with an increase in tuition as well as serious student loan debts. But the biggest concern for those attending law school is what many in the real world are dealing with at the moment: no jobs.
And if I don't have a job, then that puts me in a bad spot. It can affect a lot of things, particularly my credit rating.
Law school officials across the country have been discussing ways to reduce student debt, including allowing students to take the bar exam after 2 years instead of 3. The search continues for a New Orleans teacher who went missing this weekend.
As Katie Moore reports, it's been a difficult week for her fellow teachers as well as her students.
She's a superstar.
Isn't that sweet?
Sweet messages from second graders at Woodland West Elementary School for their missing teacher, Terry Lynn Monet.
I want Miss Monet to be safe. I know she will be okay. We love Miss Monet and we want her back at school.
Crisis counselors are on hand to help the little ones deal with the fact that their teacher has been missing more than 3 days now.
They are extra huggy this morning. They all want a lot of hugs. Yesterday we called all parents to alert them of the situation so that they could be able to talk to their children and describe it in the way that they felt was best.
It's been somber. It's been very quiet, and the children are trying to understand what's going on.
Her fellow teachers and her family knew something was wrong early Saturday when Monet wasn't answering her phone or returning text messages.
Her phone goes straight to voicemail. That's not like her. She's a phone person.
Family and friends continue trying to blanket this neighborhood with signs similar to the ones that they put up here at Parlay's, the bar where Terry Lynn Monet was last seen. In fact, they're even putting up yard signs.
We're ready to get her back.
Truly, in fact, she is the most absolute wonderful teacher I have ever met.
New Orleans police say they have not yet found the man who may have been in the car with Minette on the morning of her disappearance. Investigators are asking anyone with information to call the police. But in other news, Senator Rand Paul ended a marathon filibuster early this morning. The Republican from Kentucky spent nearly 13 hours speaking on the Senate floor. A filibuster is a speech designated to prevent a legislative body from acting. Paul questioned the Obama administration's use of drones against American citizens overseas and vowed to talk until he received more answers.
But I thank you very much for the forbearance, and I yield the floor.
Mr. President.
Senator from Illinois. There will be order. There will be order. Expressions of approval or disapproval are not permitted in the Senate.
Former Senator Thurmond of South Carolina still holds the record after he famously filibustered for over 24 hours against the Civil Rights Act of 1957. In other news, a big change is coming to Facebook today. Facebook is unveiling changes to its news feed sometime today. The upgrade will highlight visual content such as photos and videos. The images are bigger, making them more mobile friendly. This week has been pretty chilly, but it looks like we could be warming up this weekend.
Stay tuned because Chief Meteorologist Robert Gautreaux III has your forecast coming up next.
Good evening, I'm Chief Meteorologist Robert Gautreaux III, and the sun has been filibustering the rain all week. We've had clear skies, and with clear skies, there's some gems in the sky you get to look at, like this. Here's a comet that we'll be able to see starting tonight. It'll be low on the horizon. March 7th is our window for seeing this comet, and you can see throughout as the days go on along, you can see that the comet becomes visible and more visible in the night sky. In fact, on the 12th, it'll actually be by the moon. That might be a cool sight to see, the comet right next to the moon. But we'll see this comet throughout the next couple days into next week, so it should be a really good, pretty thing to see, and it'll be really nice. Let's take a look at tonight's weather. You can see that clear skies, chance of comet, low of 42 with calm winds. Fairly nice, a little chilly. Bring a light jacket if you go somewhere. Tomorrow, we'll see a temperature of around 72 degrees, lots of blue sky again, west wind of 5 miles an hour. And the rest of your week looks pretty nice for comet viewing. When the University of Washington comes here to LSU and we sweep them, we'll see lots of clear skies, nice weather for that game. We won't see a chance of rain until later on Sunday night and then into Monday. That's when we have a chance of thunderstorms. But after that, we'll have clear skies again coming on Tuesday. Our highs will be in the low 70s until this weekend, and we'll dip down into the 60s after another front passes. And our lows won't be in the 30s. We'll stay in the 40s and the 50s. For the most up-to-date weather, remember to follow me on 91.1 KLSU at 12 and 420 at LSU Weatherman on Facebook or Twitter. Send me a picture of the weather. I'll put it on here or on my website at robertthird.com. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Robert. Coming up on our global segment, Ariana takes a look at the life and death of former Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez.
Stay with us.
Tiger TV Sports Showtime, your source for everything LSU athletics and beyond, featuring all new programming for the new semester. The Sports Desk on Tuesdays recaps the previous weekend in the sporting world, locally and nationally. The OT on Wednesdays goes beyond the box score to give an in-depth look at the storylines that happened after the clock hits zero. And the bottom of the ninth on Thursdays features exciting debate about the hottest sports topics of the day. Tune in to Campus Channel 75 every Tuesday through Thursday at 6 p.m. or online at tigertv.tv. All new content, same trusted name.
Hi, I'm Ariana Prasad, and welcome back to our global segment. Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez died Tuesday in the country's capital, Caracas. Wednesday reports state that the cause of death was a heart attack despite his 2-year-long battle with cancer. Chavez held a great deal of power and influence in Venezuela and abroad. In his 15 years in office, he changed Venezuela's politics, economy, and image. Growing up in rural poverty, Chavez joined the military in his youth. After a successful military career, Chavez stepped into the national spotlight after a failed 1992 coup. Chavez is best known as an advocate for socialism. He nationalized most industries in Venezuela, including petroleum. He gave oil from Venezuela's vast reserves to his South and Central American neighbors, largely keeping out foreign investors. He deemed healthcare a human right, increasing efforts to make adequate healthcare widespread. Despite the 2-term limit outlined in the Constitution, a 2009 amendment abolished presidential term limits.
What he's done in Venezuela pretty much is try to keep himself in power. That's what pretty much he's done.
Chavistas, as his supporters are called, massively support him, and there was an 80% voter turnout in the 2012 election. Chavistas are mainly Venezuela's lower class. Upper and middle class families have a different view of Chavez, citing the increased crime rates and corruption during his rule. He's famous for his adverse relationship with the United States. Chavez referred to former President George W. Bush as the devil after speculation of a U.S. staged coup to oust Chavez in 2002. Chavez missed his inauguration in January, causing concern for his condition as well as the legitimacy of his new term. Vice President Nicolas Maduro is handling the transition of power, assuming office until a general presidential election in the next 30 days. Maduro is expected to win the election, but many doubt that he will be able to lead as his former president did.
He has no educational experience whatsoever, and he used to be a bus driver before he was president. Like a bus driver. You know how ridiculous that is? A bus driver.
But like Chavez, Maduro is a supporter and rallying point for the poor of Venezuela. Enrique Capriles, who received 44% of the 2012 vote, will run against Maduro. There are mixed feelings about Chavez in Venezuela and abroad. Despite that, he was an influential leader who has left a lasting legacy in Venezuela and Latin America. Chavez exposed issues about poverty and implemented programs to help the poor. What do you think of Chavez and the future of Venezuela? Tweet us at Tiger TV or post on the Tiger TV Facebook page with your response. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Ariana. That's all the time we have for Newsbeat today.
And be sure to tune in to Tiger TV tonight at 8 p.m. for live coverage of the SG debate.
We'll be back Tuesday with all your news.
Thanks for joining us and have a great evening.